Hi, everybody. This is Addison Shanland speaking with Adam Scott, CEO and founder of Bermudair. Today is August the 2nd. And I want to thank you, Adam. Second time we've spoken, and you're still starting an airline, which is fantastic.
Yes, I'm pretty committed to it, but I just have to make one quick correction. It's Bermudair, all one word.
Oh, I see. Subtle. No, not two A's, one A, Bermudair.
Correct.
Anyway, congratulations on another startup and wishing you all the best for the success for the airline. Being an airline entrepreneur is not an easy game, as you know.
It is not. It comes with its ups and downs. But I think if you stay focused and you're determined, at some point it'll work out. And of course, depending on having the right model. And we think we've got the right model here.
Okay. Of course, Bermuda is simply a fabulous place to go to. So let's talk about your vision for this airline.
Yeah. So look. And I hate to say look, but I'll say this. You know my background. You know that we spent a lot of time and we've been focused on launching Odyssey out of London City, all business class, transatlantic. We're still very much dedicated to that, and that is a long-term goal, an objective of ours. The opportunity with Bermuda is it's a near-term opportunity. Immediately available aircraft. It's a very interesting market, as you know. It's a small island, but it has a fantastic business community. It's got a very high-end leisure market and resident market. So it's got a very high GDP per capita. It has all of the, I guess, similar demographics that we would look to have at London City, but in the middle of the Atlantic. And so it's a great opportunity. It's a great market where there isn't sufficient lift right now for the demands of the market, which really, again, much like London City, it demands frequency, it demands reliability and dependability, and a product that matches the expectations of the customers. And so we think that we've got a unique opportunity. Maybe it's on the smaller scale, but it's a unique opportunity to prove out our concept, to prove out our model, and to do something really exciting.
So what made you choose the 175?
I was just having this conversation earlier today with another party, and the 175, we did look at a couple of alternative aircraft. We were very focused initially, in full transparency, on the CRJ. We knew that, and the real driver for this, and it's always been my view, whether it's Bermudair or Odyssey, is to have the right sized aircraft with the right number of seats for the market, and such that you can have frequency and therefore be relevant to your customers. And the CRJ, although it had very interesting opportunities, let's say, with it, the Embraer won out because of availability, because of our ability to provide a very interesting and game-changing onboard product. We've got a very fascinating and actually pretty awesome interior configuration, something that hasn't been seen or done elsewhere. And it also lends itself to other opportunities, commercial opportunities, such as cargo, for example, and other applications longer term. And so with the E-Jet, I guess, suite of aircraft, there's a great range of potential opportunities for us to explore now and into the future.
Right. Clearly, there's a family to grow into.
Correct.
The interesting thing about that airplane, it gives you a range of roughly 2,000 miles, which puts a lot of the United States in reach.
Yeah, so I think, we're very focused right now on the immediate opportunities, which are really much more East Coast focused. So of course, Westchester, and Greater New York, Boston, Fort Lauderdale, looking for the Greater Miami market. I think longer term and maybe midterm, we'd look going further west, perhaps to places like Toronto, Chicago. But it's really going to be driven by where we see the demand, and certainly given Bermuda's financial market really hinging around and being quite focused on the reinsurance side of things, we see some opportunities, other additional opportunities closer to home.
Right. It's interesting when I looked at some of the DOT data this morning before our chat, and for 2023, 72% of the traffic from the US to Bermuda is on American, 19% is on Delta, and 8% is on JetBlue. So those are the sharks that'll be looking for you.
I'm interested to see that data because intuitively JetBlue would be a bigger consideration and certainly has historically. But I think Bermuda presents a great opportunity for us, because what you have is a market that caters to leisure traffic and high-end leisure traffic, specifically over the summer months. And it has an issue with the rest of the year, where there isn't sufficient demand, specifically in the leisure market, to fill the back of the bus and the economy passengers that are otherwise requisite for bigger aircraft. And so what we see with Bermuda is we actually see a really robust year-round market, which is business and resident traffic throughout the year, and then of course with an offset of a higher leisure market during the summer months, when Bermudians tend to be off island and traveling as well. So for us, we see it and having the right sized aircraft, it's really a year-round market. I think for a lot of the competitors, it is more of a seasonal market, and that's just right. The realities of how I guess people would look at Bermuda.
It's interesting when I look at the top 7 cities: New York, Boston, Atlanta, Miami, Philadelphia, Newark, Charlotte. They're all hubs.
Yep.
Which means that's where that US port is a stronghold. So Westchester for you is a very good selection, very good choice.
Yeah, I mean, look, I appreciate that. We think so as well. We are, and the same context for Odyssey. We're always focused, and we've always been focused on the point-to-point, O&D markets. And if you look at Greater New York and you think about traffic flows between Bermuda and New York, Westchester is an obvious point of differentiation for us, and it's genuinely the largest market for us. I think that when we look at Florida, for example, we're focused on Fort Lauderdale. Fort Lauderdale, it's really much more geographically situated for our passengers who come in from Palm Beach all the way down to Miami and then across to Naples, and right. Fort Lauderdale affords that sort of direct shot across Florida. So we're less concerned, I would say, about the direct competition of the incumbents on their hubs. We don't have interline and code share agreements on day one. Maybe we'll look at that in the future, but we're much more focused on the point-to-point markets at this point.
So it's interesting. What about local competition?
There is some local competition. In Bermuda, we have a private jet club. There are other operators that have in the past looked at and operated private jets with some frequency to the island. We think that they're good competitors. It's points to the fact that there is a market for us in Bermuda. We think that our product the frequency, the fact that we're going to be based in Bermuda, so very much focused on the market and operating ourselves directly are our strong points. We think that really the consistency and that delivery of the product is going to be what sets us apart.
Right.
And so even when we think about other competitors in the market and broader with US based carriers, Canadian carriers, I think that the one differential for us, one of the biggest differentials, I should say, for us is, of course, that everything we do is around Bermuda. So to the extent that we have our aircraft based in Bermuda, to the extent that we're not subject to a large network where we have to reprioritize services when things go wrong. We're going to do everything in context of what's right for us and what's right for Bermuda, which I think is going to really be the differentiator and our critical success point.
Last airplane question. You're reported to be having 30 seats on the airplane.
That's correct.
That's going to be like 60% less space, 60% less seats than typically seen on an RJ in the US market, which is 60% more space for the passengers, which is fabulous for a passenger.
Mm-hmm. Look, I guess what I would say here is what has driven us to this aircraft, to the E175, is not so much the space that it affords passengers. That's a really fantastic benefit, as you point out, and we're going to have more space than I think any other airline, certainly short haul airline and short haul service. What's really driven us to the 30 seats is the way that we look at the market, and not dissimilar to how we looked at London City. You think about the right-sized aircraft, the right product for the market, and then of course the right number of seats with the relevant frequency, and you can make headway. And so what really drove us to this aircraft again was availability, the product that we could offer, the additional upside potential that this aircraft specifically provides us with in terms of commercial opportunities, etc. So it's the fact that we've got so much space and we're able to deliver such a fantastic product. Obviously, that was our intention to begin with, but it's really more of a byproduct of the fact that this was the right aircraft for us. And so when you compare it, for example, versus the CRJ, and what we were looking at there originally, it happens that the passengers are going to benefit from that choice.
The DOT certificate you're getting, are you going for 121 or 135?
It's the equivalent of the 129.
Okay.
So we're a Bermudian AOC. We're a Bermudian air operator, and we will operate to commercial terminals in the United States. There are opportunities where we will look at flying into FBOs, for example, but we're going to be a regular scheduled airline from a DOT perspective, from a regulatory perspective, and again operating with decent frequency.
Okay, Adam. Last item I have here for you is looking forward 2 years and 5 years. What should we expect?
I think great question. I think over the course of the next 2 years, we need to execute on Bermudair, and we need to deliver a fantastic product that has consistency, reliability at the top of our agenda, and we need to deliver on that, and we need to show that we're able to do this, and we're able to do it in a very special and unique market like Bermuda. I think once we've done that, and once we've accomplished our credibility in the market, and perhaps in year 2 we'd like to have perhaps even our 3rd or 4th aircraft in the air. I think then the sky becomes the limit. And so year 5 from now, we definitely want to bring online our longer term vision for Odyssey, transatlantic, Airbus A220s. We're very committed to that. And so again, I think that the opportunity with Bermuda is unique, and it's exciting, but there are other opportunities in the world out there that are not dissimilar to Bermuda. one thing that I would sort of stress is that many people don't know enough about Bermuda, don't realize just how different it is, and what the market dynamics are for Bermuda, and what sets it apart. People, they bring it in as a Caribbean island. It's not in the Caribbean. It's a completely different market. It's a completely different world. And so I think 5 years from now, we will be doing a lot of exciting things, and it'll come back to our very first conversation, Addison.
Looking forward to it. Thank you so much.
Pleasure.